Hi Eve, I might get a few minutes here and be able to make the custom video for you. Looking at your information, as soon as I got down to the bottom here where you had Matej Kabes, born 10th of February 1812, Stanovista, Moravia, I thought, maybe I can help her. And it did not take me very many minutes at all to find the record. So, the Moravian records out of Brno archives are in actapublica.eu. Okay. And when you search, you choose the Brno one. I typically change this to about 50. It's left over because I was searching earlier tonight and it remembers it. You had very precise data, makes it very easy to find things. 10th of February 1812, Stanoviska, I believe is how it's pronounced. But under here, Obec is town or municipality, S-T-A-N. And when I do that, there are only 3 that come up, and sure enough, there's the one that's spelled exactly the same, so we'll select it. Hledat is search, and if I hadn't had the 50, this would have gone to 2 pages. Let's explain this a bit. Narozenye is births, Odani is marriages, Zemljeli is deaths, Indexi is indexes. Strani is how many pages or how many images there are. Usually the number of pages is double that, but not always. So a star is for the birth, so we have an index for the birth from 1784 to 1836. Unfortunately, when I went to this index, I could not make sense of it and tie it into the book. Happens sometimes. But if I go look at the books, here's the one where the 1812 births should be. Click on the magnifying glass and search it. We have births, marriages, and deaths. Which comes first? I've never seen deaths coming first. So I'm hitting this arrow here to advance to the next page. And when I look at this, it says BAPT, you can see baptized in there, so that is the right one, 1753. And obviously 1812 would be near the end, but then there's marriages and deaths. So if I were to estimate, I might say that it's about halfway through would be the births. 273 divided by 2 is 138 or so, I don't know, because we started a couple late, had 2 or 3 pages at the beginning. And I get a September and an October here. See, in German, they're pretty much spelled the same as English. I didn't realize that our months came from German until I started doing this. May. I don't even know if I'm in the right year. Well, I do know because I've rehearsed this in advance. Ah, there's 1813. So I guessed pretty good. And November. And now things are going to kind of get a little confusing. Junius, June, Maius. You learn to read these after a bit. And we get a very faded page here. Martius. So this is March. That means these have to be February. And And we already know that it's going to be on this page. So let's just take a look at what we have here. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. Okay, mensis is month. Baptizanus is the person who did the baptizing. Infans is the infant. Parentes is the parents. Patrini are the patrons, or the baptismal sponsors, or the witnesses, if you will. Religio, probably pronounced religio, is the religion. CATH is obviously Catholic. Locus, the location, what town. And then this is NR number, domus. Domus is house in Latin. In Czech, it's going to be DU with a little circle over it, M. Domicile, you can see the relation. So we have the 9th. So it's the same month, ditto. And something here, something here. Ah, here's the day 12 of ditto. And is that yours? No, yours is the one above it. And somebody decided that this was a 12. I really think it's probably the 10th, because otherwise they probably would have just said DA ditto. But it's close enough. Idem is like ditto, so the person doing the baptizing was the same one listed at the top. The infant's name is Matthias. The parents are Franciscus, which is František in Czech, and this is Franciscus is in Latin. Kabes, the name was in Czech Kabes with a hachek over it, and this gives you an indication of how it was pronounced. I cannot read this part here. That's where you ask for help. But mater in Latin, Anna. Over here, the sponsors were Franciscus. Can't read it. But he's from Zebraslam, this town. Uxor is his wife, Elizabeth. This child was Catholic. And believe it or not, this is Stanovitz. And the way you can tell is over here where it says the towns. You click or just highlight that number and you say, well, let me see which town this is. And you eliminate the ones that it couldn't be. For instance, there's the ZHORZ. And you find that 3 from the bottom. Well, that's that town. Obviously, those two are not the same, and by a process of elimination, you could figure out that it's Stanovice. Here's the good thing. It looks like it's either house 10 or house 12. If they stayed in the same house, you can then look for that house number in these columns, and since this book only goes to 1814, you could look for house 10 in the next book and get brothers and sisters. Similarly, if this was an inherited land, then you might find it in a previous generation. But you do have the 2 new pieces of data that the father was František and the mother was Anna. We do not know her maiden name. You would need to find the marriage document, which, if she was from one of these 9 villages, could very well be in this same book. Hope this helps you realize what might happen in the next few weeks as you search through this. Bye.